And then instants and sorceries, the Snap can go get.
It's Snapcaster's the pod of instants and sorceries.
Yeah. Snapcaster's really good. He's a great card. It's just not what Merfolk's looking to do, so we're not running him.
It's what like every other blue deck wants.
Yeah, it's what blue decks want. Merfolk doesn't play like a blue deck. They just happen to be blue. Because they live in the water. I mean, really, it doesn't play like a blue deck, but because they're Merfolk and they're blue, we can use some of the blue spells like countering, and it helps us, like...
I mean, you're absolutely right.
Right, it helps us survive.
Blue means two things in Magic. Elementals that are in water and air, and mind stuff.
Yep.
We're not the second one.
No, we're not playing the mind games. We're just playing with the watery stuff. Water and air. Thank you, Squidiot. Yes, many puns. They live in the water, Jennifer Long. We can actually put... Oh, yeah, Carrick actually put that in the quote. There you go. I do run Vial. Here, you want to look at my deck list? We can totally do that. That is a skill I have.
What is this quote's context?
I'm not sure which quote.
One hot dog would be the difference between life and death?
That's from Dust.
Is it?
Yeah, there was all kinds of weird food, and those were your health potions. So you'd find, mysterious wall chicken, and somehow it was still warm.
Ew.
But, like, you'd break walls, and then there'd be, like, a hot, steamy chicken. And then there was, like, cake, and there were hot dogs, and there was, like, soba noodles or something. And it was so funny.
Oh,
So, yeah, one hot dog could be the difference from life and death. That was from Dust.
You can do display card view, and it'll be better.
Really?
Yeah, up top by the...
Up top. Display. What?
That's how Negative did it.
Finally figured out the trick. Thanks, Garrett. Alrighty, so here's the list. So yes, here's the files. I'm running a lot of 4-ofs. Part of what I love about Merfolk is the consistency, and that's why I'm not interested in the multicolored Merfolk decks. I'm running 4 of every Merfolk in my main deck. So 4 Curse Catcher, 4 Silvergill, 4 Harbinger, 4 Lord of Atlantis, 4 Master, 4 Reejerey, and 4 Master of Waves.
Not everyone runs 4 Reejerey.
Yeah, not everyone runs 4 Reejerey, not everyone runs 4 Master, and not everyone runs 4 Harbinger.
Who's not running 4 Master?
I saw a list the other day that had a Master and a Reejerey out for 2 Kira main. Or for a Kira main and something else.
Which Master?
Master of Waves.
Oh, okay.
The big one.
Okay.
Yeah, the high curve one. Everyone's going to run 8 Lords. Right, I know. Vial and Island Walk, I shouldn't lose to Twin.
Until they killed your Vial with Kolaghan's Command.
Right, well, Kolaghan's Command, if they're in Grixis, it's a little bit harder. But no, my matchup against Twin should be... Yeah. Stay Weird 6661. Thanks for following. Oh, Wall Chicken is a Castlevania reference?
Oh.
Good to know. I did not know that. I've not played Castlevania. Hi there, Foxfo. Or Fofo. Got it. Yeah, Fofo. That's great. Yeah, so you tuned in right when we were talking about hot dogs, right? I think that's probably when you tuned in. Yeah, okay, so then you got Dismember, Spell Pierce. Thank you for following. And then Vial and Spreading Sea. So those are the non-creature spells. And then 20 lands. So I'm 20, and then the rest of the guys.
Have you ever considered 19?
I saw some deck lists that ran 19 lands, and it'd probably be fine, but then you have to not run as many Master of Waves. I think the one that I was talking about that didn't have as many Master of Waves was the 19 lander. So they were doing it so they wouldn't as regularly get up to 4. And I love Master Waves. I think that's part of how I win a lot of the time. It's a really great card. I love it. So I don't think I want to run 19 lands. I don't think that's enough. Right, us, the Merfolk. The clan of Merfolk. Right. So then on the sideboard, I'm currently trying out Recall and Kira again. Well, actually, this is the first time I'm actually trying out Kira. But I used to have 2 Vapor Snags and 2 Spreading Seas
Not spreading seeds.
main, or not Spreading Seas. 2 Vapor Snags and 2 Spell Pierce main, and then 1 each sideboard.
And now you've got two.
Now I have no Vapor Snag. I have 2 Spell Pierce. I have 2 Spell Pierce and 2 Dismember main, and a Dismember in the side, and nothing else there. And then the 2 Negates, I suppose.
Yeah, popper.
Yeah, Tidebinder Mage, a lot of people aren't running that one anymore, really, either.
I love it.
But I think it's the answer that we need. It's as good as Relic of Progenitus is against a Jund. Because if your Tarmogoyf is tapped down forever, it doesn't matter how much power it has. I just frozen it. That's cool.
There's your elf.
And I can block down the elves. Because I don't want to run hibernation.
Yeah.
Because there's just not enough elf decks running around to make bounce all green things worth it.
Hibernation is Hercule's Recall for green.
Yeah, it's Hercule's Recall, 3 mana for green. It's just I know that they beat us, but I think Tidebinder Mage is enough for that matchup. And then because I've beaten elves a good number of times, so I know there's a lot of luck involved in beating elves, but it's also possible. It can be done.
There's a lot of chalice.
Yeah, there's a lot of chalice and vial and all kinds of stuff like that help a lot. Ooh, 2 Merfolk decks made day 2 at Charlotte. Awesome! Congratulations to them.
Why do you even bother boarding against
Okay, so Apathy Project. Why do I even bother boarding against Affinity? So I did not used to. And then what was the event we went to? Pittsburgh? I think it was GP Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yes.
Yeah. So we went to GP Pittsburgh last fall, early winter time, whenever that was. And my 3rd loss was to Affinity, and I left the table saying, because that cut me out of day 2. And so I left the table saying, all right, I don't like just giving away a matchup, so I'm going to give Hercule's Recall a solid try again. So I've been on it for a while.
Well, you went into the tournament saying it's only 10% of the metagame. I'll give that up.
Right. Treg 97. Thank you or 79. I don't remember which one it was. 97. I saw you in the list. Thanks for following. Yeah, but I go in. Affinity is only 10% of the meta. I can probably just give it up. I'm only going to lose 1 or 2 matches to it. I can still be successful. And I can be much better prepared to sideboard against everybody else. And that worked for me for a while. But after that 3rd loss, I was like, all right, it's time to give it another try. Now that Affinity's a little more prevalent, stuff like that.
Because 11% of 9 rounds is a round.
Yeah, 11% of 9 rounds is a round. I will see Affinity, in theory. What? Yeah, the odds say so. Now, I haven't seen Affinity at an official competitive tournament since then. Actually, I haven't seen Affinity except once online since then. So I haven't even really gotten to give Hercule's Recall a fair shake, which is why I'm still running it.
I was at Pittsburgh. I
Yeah.
had 3 Hercule's Recalls.
Yeah, so Carrick was at Pittsburgh and had 3 recalls and beat Affinity twice.
Well, actually, the second time I lost because I misplayed, but I had them on the
Right.
race. I beat them.
He should have beat them the second time, I guess.
And Harbinger of the Tides is the key that makes Hercule's Recall good enough to shore up the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Harbinger of the Tides made the difference.
Ooh, rounds 1 and 2 in Charlotte? Yeah. So, I don't know. I just haven't seen it enough since I decided to make the to really test it out.
Have your other matchups hurt for lack of sideboard slots?
I think my other matchups have all hurt a little bit. I think, my other... Jund went down, 2%, and
What would they be if they weren't Hercules?
well, before I had more counter and tempo magic, so I had more spell pierce, I had more vapor snag, um, which I do have negate in here now, but I think I'd still have those. My old list, I actually have my GP Pittsburgh list still here. So my old sideboard, I did not have Dismember the Main. I had Phantasmal Image, 2 Pierce, 2 Snag. That's the primary difference. Oh, and I only had 2 Harbinger. So those are the primary differences from that list. So I was running Monastery Siege at that time. I had Swan Song, which helped me against the twin matchup.
That moved to negate, I think.
But that moved to negate as well, so I was able to condense those 4 cards into 2 cards.
Which 4?
Spell Pierce, Vapor Snag, and the 2 Swan Songs. All those positions all of those were replaced by negate for some matchup.
Snag and negate are the opposite sides.
I know that negate and snag don't work the same way. That I do know. I'm not a complete moron.
I didn't mean that.
But snag came out and negate came in its place for some matchups. The Ogavezco. Thank you for following.
Nikuchu brought up other matchups Hercules Recall's good in.
Yeah. Yeah, so what Nikuchu said, Hercules Recall is also good. I've actually not ever run it against Tron. I feel like at best it's gonna be a 1-for-1 or maybe a 2-for-1 if they've got an egg out while they're hitting Oblivion Stone. So it's really just there for O-Stone. And theoretically, I can negate O-Stone.
But Chalice is great.
Chalice is, yeah.
I played Tron Chalice.
Everyone says Chalice is great against Tron, and it hasn't proven itself to me yet, but I keep trying to let it prove itself to me on the play.
Tron runs the same number of 1-drops as Burn.
Yeah, I know. It just hasn't proven itself to me.
Ooh, Wormcoil, that's true. It hits Wormcoil.
What hits Wormcoil?
Hercules Recall.
Oh! Yeah, Hercules Recall hits Wormcoil. Black-white tokens against Merfolk.
It's the Inquisitions and Path.
Inquisition, Path, and Lingering Souls are our problem.
They're the hardest cards of Black-white Eldrazi, too.
Yeah, that's the same problem we have with Black-white Eldrazi and stuff. So generally, if I can just run my guys out, and really a Spreading Seas is almost needed if Black-white tokens is doing its thing. But I can race them. Merfolk can definitely race Black-white tokens if we can get hits in. But if they're playing on the defensive, and we don't have Spreading Seas and an Island Walk Lord, then we're stuck.
That's a card.
What is it? Declaration of Naught. Enchantment for blue. As it enters the battlefield, name a card and blue counterspell. Okay, I have seen that card before.
Have you?
Yes.
Gives devotion.
Yeah, so I saw it in a Merfolk list, and that's when I looked it up. And they had a lot of different things. They were trying out a lot of different spells and such with this Merfolk list. So it was like a testing Merfolk deck. It wasn't, I'm taking this to go top 8 or go win a big tournament. But they were running that, and I think their resolution was the devotion's good, but you have to always leave up blue for it and name the right card for the right deck. And then that has to be the only one that's going to hurt you, and most of the time that's not the case. Twisted Light, thank you for following.
That sounds fun to experiment with.
It was a cool experiment, but I believe that their result, or after they tested with it, they decided it wasn't good enough.
I think the inflexibility is the problem. Like, if you name it against Twin and you say Splinter Twin, and they resolve a Keranos, like, you just wish it was negate.
Yeah.
Nikuchu kind of likes it.
Yeah, Nikuchu might try it out soon. I don't know. Yeah, Black-white tokens isn't really that hard. It has play against us. It can definitely beat us, but I think we're favored in the matchup.
Can you pull up your new sideboard again?
Oh, right. This is my old sideboard, by the way. So let's go back to my new one. Yep, so this is the one I'm playing with now. So Kira and Hercule is really what we're testing. I have been surprised by Kira, but I'm still not sure that she's better than Siege.
She helps against Lingering Souls.
She helps against Lingering Souls?
She blocks the flyers.
I guess she blocked one of the flyers. Yeah, so her blocking flyers is good, and like Ink Moth and Blink Moth. What about Pithing Needle, Sprite Star?
Do you like it?
Do I like Pithing Needle? I mean, I'm not gonna play Pithing Needle. I'm not in the game of guessing what you're playing and stopping you that way. I'm in the game of saying, oh, you want to play Mono Bloom Burn? Cool. John Dye, thank you for following. Yeah, so yeah, you think you're going to play Naya Burn, but you really wanted to play Mono Blue Burn, right? I'm helping you out here, right? And I make that joke all the time, and people always groan at it. Herc16, thank you for following.
Someone's asking why Chalice.
Why Chalice? Chalice is wonderful. When Chalice works, Chalice kicks butt. Okay, so Chalice, normally on either 0 or 1. 2 hurts us quite a bit, although we can play through it with Cavern of Souls.
Also, 2 is just too late.
And 2 comes out on like 4 mana for turn 4, so that's just really late. If we're playing it on 2, we're desperate.
Tell them about the time you molded 3 Island Chalice.
Oh, I'll get there. That's a good story. Alright, so Chalice of the Void is fantastic. So 0 hits Living End, Bloom, Affinity. Yeah, you can get Chalice of the Void on 0 on the play against Affinity, and they can't just dump their hand. I mean, they can no longer play Mox, they can no longer play Thopter, they can no longer play Mimnite. I mean, it stops Affinity pretty hard. Chalice on 1 stops Burn, Infect, theoretically Tron, though I'm not convinced, but I'm still trying it out. Chalice on 1 stops Elves, like I was telling earlier. My Elves opponent yesterday, I was able to use Chalice to stop them from winning. They weren't able to cast what they wanted to cast. I think Zombie Hunt looks like fun.
Storm.
Oh, Storm. Chalice of the Void hurts Storm, so Chalice on 1 there. Okay, so Carrick really wants me to tell the story. Okay, so there's a game, and it is available highlighted, so you can go back and find it. So it's Merfolk versus Storm, and I had to mulligan to 3, right? So I have 3 cards, and I pull Island, Chalice of the Void. So I think I'm gonna play. I think so. Turn 1 Island. Turn 1 they do Serum Visions or something, right? Nothing that we're that worried about. And then turn 2 I play Island, Chalice of the Void. You can no longer play your deck. So then I had all the time in the world I wanted to draw out of it and beat them. I mean, it took a while, but that was a fantastic. That was a fun game. You should go find that one. That was great. And we were like freaking out over here. I was like, what? No! Psh, flip the table. You know, it was pretty funny. Why are you laughing at me?
You didn't flip a table.
No, but I'm pretending to flip a table, so whatever.
Okay. There are other matchups where Chalice is good too. It's hard to remember them all.
Right. I mean, Chalice is really good in a lot of matchups. Ooh, your opponent forgot to counter your creatures through Chalice. I mean, to be fair, sucks for them. I think we're just talking and then heading to bed. So, tune in. What am I doing tomorrow? Am I doing something tomorrow?
Tomorrow afternoon, are you getting up?
I might play tomorrow afternoon, but I might play something else. But tune in Tuesday, and I'll definitely be playing some Fish for you. Okay? But yeah, I hope to see you Tuesday, Spanky. This has actually been really good. People have had a lot of questions, and I'm able to like really elaborate on them.
This is worth highlighting.
Yeah, I think I'll be highlighting this. This is cool. Alright, so Nikachu got us a nice list. Okay.
Ad nauseum to counter the
Yeah, ad nauseum. Anything that is,
0 or 1.
right, 0 or 1. But, like, anything where they're, like, digging into their deck.
Yes.
Bogles.
We
Bogles.
have a
Yes,
local
Bogles.
player.
Rose Show 321. Thank you for following. Yeah, we have a local Bogles player. Actually, our local meta is really aggro.
You've main decked Chalice.
If I were to, for one session I did, I brought like my binder and I switched out when I knew no one else was coming. So I main decked 2 Chalice of the Void because I was playing against Burn, Delver, Bogles, and Infect, and then Carrick and I's fish decks. And I think Grixis Twin was Grixis Control was there.
Maybe, but that was a bad day.
Yeah, but it was like it wasn't an 8-man thing.
It's
So,
fun.
thank you, Rosha.
We now have like 14 people.
Yeah, we're definitely larger. We're at like we had 14 last time. Yeah, but Chalice is super sweet. It does so much work. And it's a great card. Also, if Zediker were on here, or Turn 1 Chalice, both of them are huge Chalice fans, and they tell me to bring in Chalice against everything, which is silly.
That's why you played Legacy Merfolk.
Right. That's why I briefly played Legacy Merfolk. Yeah.
Chalice is amazing.
Because Chalice is so good.
Tell everyone to go check out Nikachu's recent Legacy stuff.
Oh yeah, Nikachu's been playing Legacy. You guys should go watch it if you're interested in Legacy Merfolk, because I'm not really that interested in Legacy Merfolk. I think if I play Legacy, I want to play Lance. But I also don't have $3,000. So, I'm probably not going to play Lance. But I might proxy it up and play it at like a proxy Legacy tournament somewhere. Occasionally those exist. Heck, I could run one. Yeah, the meta is pretty harsh, except like when I know it's just them, I can pre-board because they're all set up where the same cards are good against them most of the time. Where are you seeing that? I don't understand what you're trying to say. I'm sorry. No, I'm tired. I'm not going to play Pauper tonight. I'm sorry. Ooh, a Legacy deck, $40 should turn 2 kill. I believe it. That sounds like a really cool deck. When you get the list, I'd love to see it if you want to message it to me or something, or tweet it at me. If you're not trying to keep it secret from the whole world or whatever. Yeah, that sounds awesome, actually. I would love to see that.
Can it turn 2 kill through Force of Will?
Yeah, can it turn 2 kill through Force of Will, though? That's the answer. That's the question. Yeah. Isn't Burn like the cheapest Legacy deck right now?
I don't know.
I don't know. Oops All Spells? That's a goofy deck. Have you seen Oops All Spells?
Yeah. Charbelcher.
Yeah. Oh, not 40? 400 maybe? 400 is still a super cheap Legacy deck.
That's true.
Yeah, so 400 would still be like super cheap. Mono Black Tron or Storm. Yeah, those probably aren't too terribly expensive.
I've heard of Blacktron in Modern, but not Legacy.
Oh, Blacktron's not in Legacy?
I don't know.
I mean, Storm is black in Legacy. That's what I was thinking, I guess.
I've heard of Modern Mono Blacktron though.
Yeah.
It uses like all those really expensive black tutors and it does things.
It's, yeah.
It was a
Mono Black Tron is kind of one of those goofy decks that if they don't know that you're coming, you can win. But if they know you're coming, then you're dead.
Basically, Mono Black Tron was a flash in the pan about a month before the Eldrazi deck, and then everyone who played Tron went back to Red Green, everyone who played Mono Black went to Eldrazi, and everyone was happy.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're interested in Black Tron, you should look that one up. It was kind of short-lived, but it was definitely interesting. Black Tron was a Lego set in the 90s, it very well might have been.
Back when Tron the movie came out.
Oh, yeah. When the movie came out.
Yep.
That makes a lot more sense. What do I think is the hardest matchup for Merfolk decks? Big. Okay. The hardest matchup for Merfolk decks is Affinity and Elves. Elves has finally grown now that it's got Shaman in the pack, and it's become very difficult for us. But Affinity is our classic arch nemesis. They're just fast, we can't stop them very well, and that's why people run Hurkyl's Recall. But it's also why some people don't run Hurkyl's Recall, and they just say, I will lose to Affinity, and I will have 5% better matchup against everybody else post-board. And I was on that train for a long time, and I may go back to that train. I really might. But I'm trying to give Hurkyl's Recall a fair shake.
Ooh, can I talk about what I did?
About what?
I ran 4 Cavern and 4 Wanderer.
Oh, yeah. Come here.
No, I don't want to down a camera.
You're going to have to speak into the mic for it to be clear, though.
Okay, hand me the headset.
Oh, he's going to hide. All right.
Alright, so I have not played an Affinity deck since I tried this, which is a bummer because I want to, but I put 4 Wandermine hubs and 4 Cavern of Souls, along with the 4 Aether Vial, and that allows me to run 4 of the 2-drop legendary spirit that's called Kataki War's Wage, and it says all artifacts have pay 1 at the beginning of your upkeep or sacrifice it.
And it's worth it for Vial.
Yeah, I mean I've got 12 sources to be able to cast it. I've got I've got Cavern on Spirit, 4 Wanderwine hubs and 4 vials, and it's hugely more impactful than Hurkyl's Recall. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it's better than Hurkyl's Recall.
Yeah, the white splash is so dangerous.
I mean, it's not a white splash. I'm not running shock lands or coming to play tap lands or fast lands.
You are splashing white, though. It's
sure.
Small.
Yeah.
You can't say you're not splashing white because
right.
Those are white cards.
I mean, the biggest problem that it's caused is that since I'm running 2 more Cavern of Souls, I have a lot more colorless mana, and that means my sideboard's more colorless. So instead of running more blue cards,
you're running Relic.
I'm running Relic and Chalice and a little more color, less color intensive non-creature spells. I can still run plenty of creature colors. Tidebender's fine because Cavern still makes blue for creatures. So it's interesting, and I really wanted to keep taking it to a big event until I face Affinity a couple times.
We need to find a friend who plays Affinity well.
Justin almost has his deck built.
Yeah, but he has to learn how to play it well first.
That's true. He knows Delver and Twin way better. Okay, that was my experimental list.
Yeah. Hey, I'm back.
I have a quality voice, really?
What?
He says I have a quality voice.
Quality voice. Ooh. Radio personality. I think he might be even too shy for that. I don't know. Maybe.
I love voice.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, you had a podcast for like 3 episodes.
I was in college. And
it was a college with a high school buddy.
We talked about
talking about
the
launch of the iPhone 3GS and the Windows 7 beta.
So it
was a long time ago. But yeah, there were like 3 episodes. It was Tech Split, and they were trying to talk about the new upcoming.
Sadly, I lost all the files and I can't find the archives.
All the files are gone, so we don't have access to them anymore. Actually, they are downloaded on my old Mac, which is somewhere in the house, and we can plug it into like a monitor and a keyboard and stuff, and actually use it like as a desktop computer because the screen doesn't work and the keyboard doesn't work, and if you open it, it falls in half and stuff. And the battery's out because the battery was so pregnant that it actually popped itself out. I mean, it was 2008 MacBook, okay? Forgive me, it was my college computer, but it's dead.
Why don't you run Relic of Progenitus?
Ooh, why don't I run Relic of Progenitus? It's just a different path that you can take, and it makes the deck play more control-like. I think it's a little bit more. It slows the deck down a little. I mean, in a good way because it's stopping, Jund and Affinity and those guys, which are slower matchups anyway. But I think Tidebinder Mage is in the slot where Relic would be, and I really like Tidewire Mage, and it helps in other matchups as well, including Burn. Yeah, I mean it's not a bad choice. If you want to go with Relic of Progenitus in Merfolk, I'd go for it. I mean, Carrick does, Nikachu does, so it's not really style I'm trying to go for with it. I really prefer, yeah, and I really prefer the aggro side of Merfolk, and I use the control when I need to.
So what's it good for?
What?
What's it good for? For all those people who want to know.
Oh, what Relic is good for? Okay, so Relic is good against Tarmogoyf. You can selectively shrink the Tarmogoyf. It's good against Snapcaster. It helps a little bit against the Delve guys, so like Tadzagur and Gurmag Angler, so they can't cast them as fast. Also, you can sack it to get rid of the whole graveyard and draw a card. So it does cantrip afterwards, after a while.
Dead.
It's not then, but it eventually... What?
It's never dead because it can.
Yeah, it's never dead because you can cantrip with it. I love my consistency. When I play a game of Magic, I want to see the cards I'm used to seeing, and I know how to make them win the game. And, like, I have Mick Gooch. Thank you for following. I have a really, really hard time understanding why anyone would ever have one copy of anything ever.
Court of Calling.
I still don't think one copy of Court of Calling... Oh, no. Court of Calling into, like, one copy of Kiki. I still think it's a bad idea, because what if you draw Kiki? Oko94, thank you for following. Oftentimes, they don't have the double red to cast Kiki.
Court is great for one of silver bullets, like one guitar.
I guess Cord helps if you're a toolbox deck that's going to go get one-ofs.
Like Kiki Court.
And you've got a lot of fetches, and not like land fetches, but fetch cards that go fetch other cards. Similar to Kiki Cord. Kiki Cord is the current big toolbox deck. And that I kind of understand one-offs. But if you can't cast them out of your hand, you have to have two in case you accidentally draw it and you need to go get it.
I mean, that's why they only play castable bullets.
Sometimes. They don't always play only castable bullets.
Okay.
Some toolbox decks are really interesting and toolboxy, and they hope not to draw anything, and they have to use what they don't draw. Which is weird. Toolbox is an interesting setup. I don't think I would enjoy playing it. Although, to be fair, my commander deck is mono blue combos, which is basically toolboxy.
Mono black.
Did I say blue? Is Merfolk turning me into a blue mage? I'm normally a black mage. Black is my favorite color in Magic. You often see, like, I'm not that worried about Path to Exile. I'm okay letting a creature... If you're going to kill it anyway, I get a land off of it. Alright, that's fine. I'm totally okay paying 2 life for land filtering with the Hasty Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide. Yeah, okay. With Goblin Guide. Like, I let Goblin Guide sit there and attack me because I get extra cards or land filtering. And 2 a turn for that extra card, I'm totally fine with, which most Merfolk players don't do, most other players don't do, but that's a black mage thing.
I mean, you have a limit.
I have a limit. They're not going to kill me to let me draw. And if I need to stop him, I will stop it. But, you know,
He doesn't pay me.
I'm not that worried about Goblin Guide because I get value off of Goblin Guide.
So you still kill it.
I still kill it when I need to, but I use it until I can no longer use it. And so I'm playing with my opponent's cards. Sultai and black, those are my jam. Yeah. Villainous Wealth was like my very first, no, it was my second, like, pet peeve love card, because the first one was Hornet Queen.
That's true.
But, yeah.
Both in the same deck.
Hashtag just black mage things. Alright, did I miss any questions?
What did Kiki Cord do that they answered it?
Oh, they answered it already?
A lot of people saying sideboard one-ups.
Yeah, and even sideboard one-ups, I don't get it. It does not intrinsically make sense to me. I'm hoping that Next Level Magic will talk about something like that, and I can kind of get an understanding there, or I can try to understand why that's useful in some situations. But I know people who run one Kira main deck and that's all they run. And like all these people running one-offs, and I'm like, you're not gonna see it consistently. If you're gonna run it, at least run two. Like,
mathematically, it can make sense.
Right, I understand that sometimes the math says okay, but it just does not compute. It doesn't make any sense to me. No logic comes down. Oh, thanks, Carrick. You posted my Villainous Pack article. Thanks.
That was like almost a year ago now.
That's been almost a year?
It was right after Dragons released, which would be the spring set. So yeah, as soon as Oath comes out, it'll be a year.
When Oath comes out, it'll be a year. That's set. Interesting.
Then you jumped on Merfolk.
Yeah. And, well, we switched over when rotation was going to come. It was going to be our first rotation since I started playing, because I started in M15. So technically that was my first rotation when Ravening and stuff came out. But because I knew rotation was coming and I was getting started, I just didn't brew. When I was brewing my deck, I just didn't even look at them because I knew they wouldn't be around by the time I was playing.
We just drafted mostly in M15.
Yeah, we drafted M15, and then after M15, or after Khans of Tarkir came out, we drafted a decent amount of that too, actually, but we started playing Standard as well. And that's when my deck got built, and I was running Theros and stuff like that, but I didn't look at Return to Ravnica or 14 because they're just gone. So I was a little bit ahead of everybody because people were not wanting to get rid of their Ravnica cards and 14 cards yet. But that didn't give me much advantage because I was a new player.
I mean, you never got to go Burning Tree Emissary, Burning Tree Emissary, Burning Tree Emissary, Burning Tree Emissary. Next turn, Nykthos Pelucranos.
Right, no, I never did that. 4 Burning Tree Emissaries, next turn Nykthos Pelucranos, boom. Yeah. That would have been pretty great.
You had it happen to you, against you, in Modern, with Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, I did. 2 Burning Tree Emissaries into Tarmogoyf.
That was at the Pittsburgh Last Chance Trials?
Yep, Pittsburgh Last Chance Trials.
That was fun.
Is Primetime banned in Commander?
I think so.
Really?
Maybe.
I know Emrakul's banned in Commander. I mean, Twisted Light says so, so probably. I don't think they'd lie to me. But I didn't realize it. That's cool. Yeah, any more questions about Merfolk before I get off for the evening, I think? It's a pretty sweet deck. I really love it. Okay, yeah, 1 Malira if you're running Court of Calling, because they will. But see, if you draw Malira, then
you still cast it.
I guess she's castable. She's only 3 mana, right?
You understand the toolbox decks that can play tutors for
right.
It's all the others that you don't.
It's all the other. Yeah, I get toolbox, kind of. I wouldn't play toolbox, but I get it. Yeah, I imagine you would be really easy to just take over the game, basically. How do I feel about Merfolk versus Malira Company? AKA Little Abzan, AKA Unoffensive Company, AKA a whole bunch of stuff. Most of my videos on it are titled Unoffensive Company if you're ever looking for it. My how do I feel about it?
I think you're going way too literal on the word feel.
I am. No, I think it's an interesting deck. It's also Podless Pod, right? I think.
Yeah.
It's not tier 1 because it's not good enough to be tier 1.
It did get into the top 8.
It did get into top 8. That's true. I mean, sometimes it does really well, but it's not. It's like a thorn in your side, but it's not a sword chopping your neck off. What? 8 rack is really interesting to me, and I'm tempted to play 8 rack. I'm also interested in Living End, which plays very black-like. They only play green and red because that's how you can cascade into Living End. Ensnaring Bridge is frustrating for a Merfolk deck. But if I were playing it, I would freaking love Ensnaring Bridge. I would love to play that card. I think, say, oh, you want to attack me? Nah.
Like that deck Saffron Olive posted that was all the rituals, Blood Moon, and Ensnaring Bridge.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was a really silly deck. Yeah, Merfolk hates it, but if I were playing 8-Rack, or I wouldn't want to play Lantern Control. That's just not me. That's not my speed. I'm not a control player. But
especially like Prison Control.
Prison Control? Yeah. The occasional card that says, oh, no, you can't do that, is great. But, like, Spreading Seas and stuff like that. But oh, we've gotten a lot of good quotes tonight, huh?
Yep.
I think we added 3. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad deck. But it's also not something I'm really interested in playing either. But there's a lot of decks out there that I don't really want to play. I don't want to play Burn. Burn's fine. It does good work, but I'm not really interested in Burn. It's not my speed. Any more? Yeah, Lantern would lose to 8-Rack. I don't think a lot of people are playing 8-Rack much anymore, which is why it's not being seen winning things.
Too much Snapcaster, too much Kolaghan's Command.
Snap and Kolaghan's Command and Goyf. Those are all really hard for 8-Rack. 8-Rack goes...
You're dead to top decks.
Yeah, you're really dead to top decks. 8-Rack goes, I'm going to put these things in your graveyard. Oh, yeah, here, you can totally play Tazagar on turn 2. Like, that's really, really bad for 8-Rack. Letting your opponent just cast Tazagar on turn 2, or a Gromag Angler. So I think that's part of why 8-Rack has diminished. Is really Tazagar. I think that's the main reason.
Well, for a while it was Treasure Cruise.
Oh, well, Treasure Cruise, but... yeah. We'll just leave it at that. Inner Dark Side, it's 4 a.m.? I guess I must be entertaining, huh? If he's been watching me for 3 hours and didn't know the time had passed. You should probably go to sleep. I'm getting so tired. I don't know if you guys can tell. But I'm probably going to bed soon. Finishing this and then going to bed. Yes, he's actually fish. It's true. He's actually a modern playable fish.